This week on South Dakota Explorer, we take a trip to historic Deadwood, where we visit Toni Gerlach's Pump House Coffee and Deli and mind-blown glass studio. Let's go inside to take a closer look at what makes this one of Black Hill's hidden treasures.
I grew up in Las Vegas, and when I was about 14, I remember when they built the Bellagio Hotel and Casino, and the entire entryway of where people check into their hotel and casino area is done by Dale Chihuly, which is a world-famous glass blower, and the whole ceiling is just full of glass. And again, I remember when they were building that, and I just thought it was amazing, and I inquired more about it from my mom and stuff. And then when I was about 15, she ended up giving me a glass blowing class. I made a paperweight, and I thought it was the coolest thing ever, and she gave me a couple more lessons, and I continued to pursue it from there. A couple years later, after I graduated high school, I found a university in San Diego that offered glass blowing, and was able to get a fine arts degree with an emphasis in glass there. And then after I graduated college, I was lucky enough to have a family that has supported me through this whole process and helped me get my own studio up and running. So after college, we took some steps and just jumped into opening up a studio, and here we are 4 years later, doing pretty good. That glass is an ancient craft. A lot of the steps are still done in the same way. A lot of the tools are still used in the same manner as well. What I feel really connected to is kind of where the glass is going. There's a lot of the same steps to set things up, but like I talked about getting more into sculptural art, we do a lot of the same process as the ancient glass, but now we're doing a lot of new things where we're figuring out different ways to manipulate the glass to get more of realistic sculptural art out of it. So I feel connected to how glass works, how it's always worked, but also the way that it's moving forward in different ways to work with the glass. I offer classes here very similar to the one that I first took when I first started glass blowing back in Las Vegas, and we offer classes for 7 years and up, and then we offer smaller things like you can come in and make an ornament, which is one of our cheaper classes that runs about $45. It takes about a half hour, and it's pretty hands-on, and then from there it jumps up to about $130 to make a bowl, and that one takes a lot longer, more closer to about an hour, and you actually end up with your own bowl that I help you create. So quite a bit of hands-on with all of my classes. Customers, when they're coming to take classes, do expect us to stay overnight. Also, we can do shipping for additional charge. So if you have to hit the road that day, we can make other arrangements to make sure that you get your piece to you. This furnace, its technical name is called a glory hole. It does run close to 2,500 degrees. It is only running when I'm working, and it allows me to melt in color, maintain the temperature of my base glass, and continue to manipulate the glass as we're working with it. So inside of here is 130 pounds of molten glass. It runs 24/7 at 2,100 degrees, and the glass that I'm pulling out of here is orange yellow, and it's clear glass, but again, it's just so hot that it has this orange yellow color. Again, you can also see a consistency of really thick honey. Over here, this is called a marver table, and it allows me to shape the glass. So what I'm doing right now is all of the glass is actually on the pipe here. We never end up using in our piece. My cup is going to exist from about here out. So by starting at this downward angle and applying pressure, I'm slowly squeezing all that glass off the end of the pipe. And over here, I'm applying my first layer of color. Color is also glass, comes from the manufacturer, pre-colored, and it comes all the way from a powder up to full rods, so you can make an entire piece one color if you'd like. So again, this is allowing me to melt in the colors, also maintain the base temperature of our glass. If glass gets too cool too fast, it will crack or explode. So we're constantly watching the temperature of our piece. Wet newspaper. It allows me to shape the glass with my hands. It stays completely cool to the touch. The glass just rides on a steam and carbon layer, The glass is never actually really touching the newspaper. So what I did right now is I capped a breath of air inside of the pipe, and the heat of the pipe and the heat of the glass is expanding my breath of air trapped inside of that pipe. And as it heats up and expands, it has nowhere else to go to except for out through the soft glass. And it's really hard to see because we have so much color on here, but you can kind of see a shoulder that formed, and that's where the bubble is. It goes to about out there now. So at this point, I'm gonna let the glass cool off and become semi-solid. And I'm gonna do another layer of clear glass over the top of it to increase our size and also encase our colors. So even though this glass has become solid, it's still about 1800 degrees. So this will eventually be the bottom of our cup, and I'm just lightly pulling away some heat from it. I'm not really flattening our bottom yet. And again, I cap that breath of air inside the pipe. You can really see it expanding this time. And right here, close to the end of the actual blowpipe, this will be the opening of our cup. This will also be how I break it off the pipe here in a little bit. But this is what we call a jack or a neckline. Again, this will be the bottom of the cup. And I'm going to go right back to. So by swinging the glass, the centrifugal force is pulling out the glass, and you can see it's kind of extending. Make sure that we have a really nice flat bottom so that our cup is nice and stable when it sets. So again, this will be our nice flat bottom. We put a little bit of a divot in here. So again, I'm connecting right to the bottom of our cup. And hot glass, when it has a chilled point, so I'm chilling this point with a little bit of water, and then a vibration sent through it, that becomes its breaking point. So right now I'm just focusing the heat right on the opening of the piece, and then when I go back to the bench, I'll use a set of tools to open this up. This metal is just pulling away the heat from where we're connected. Just chilling that. And then with a light vibration, pop right off. And then we do fire polish the bottom so that there's no sharp edges. And so we're just going to lightly hit it. And it's just melting anything that was left behind from that punky. And now I'm going to grab the glass and we're going to go into this annealing oven. Inside of here, it looks like a freezer, but it's running really close to 1,000 degrees, which is a nice stable point for glass. And it will hang out in here for about 24 hours. Recently, my husband and I have been talking a lot about where we want to go in the future, and by doing this, we've also looked into the past of where we've come from and where I've come from. And just to think back about 3 years ago, when I first started this business, to think about some of the products that I was making to some of the things that I'm making today, it's a huge reward to even just look at those pictures or to see progress and the networking that I've made and the people that I've met and the experiences that I've been able to give to other people. people with sharing my craft with them and allowing them to kind of have their own experience of making a keepsake that they can, cherish forever.
On your next adventure to the Black Hills, we hope you'll stop by and see Toni at the Pump House Deli and Mind Blown Glass Studio. I hope you enjoyed this episode of South Dakota Explorer. If you enjoy what we're doing, hit that like button, share us on your social media, and don't forget to subscribe so you'll never miss our new adventures.